Come on, go. We're gonna fall behind.
Daniel has this very specific position that nobody else can take. So it's one of those things. It's like, that classic moral question. If somebody's going to get on a train, and do you save the train or do you save the person? That kind of thing. And in this case, if Daniel is saved, it's going to help the entire world, not just the group of men that are going down there. But anytime one life is lost, it's painful.
It means you'll have to see if he can put the things. I mean, he asked, what happens if I can't put it back? So that's what you get to see. Can he or can he not? And I like to call it the unfolding of a person.
Selfishly, why would he want to confess something that has the ability to change the very fate of the people he loves the most? I mean, especially at this time, we don't, it's not like he can get on an airplane and travel and see his family. His family are the people that he loves and the people that he communes with on a daily basis. So without them, Hank, like most people at that time, don't exist. There's no tomorrow. There's only that, right? So that is everything. That's his world.
It was surreal. I'm a big fan of the story, the universe, and the Muschietti iteration of this story resonated with me since it came out in 2016 in the theater. So to now be in it and revisit, they were revisiting sets and I was visiting for the first time. Was insane, like really hard to fathom. Still processing it, and these builds and these sets are incredible, and they're practical. And what you see really is what you're getting. And even the exterior of Derry, Maine, they turned the city into Derry, Maine, and it's unlike anything I've ever seen before.
I was quite glad to finally get to film with all these people who I'd been hanging out with for months on months by the time we reached episode 5 and filming. I was a little intimidated dealing with all these actors. They've been at this with Strike. They've been at this for years, or at least a year by this point, since they started doing this. They had so much dynamic. They had all these characters going, but I felt like I didn't need too much to get into that flow and that dynamic, because Maddie is so detached as a character. He's so deep into what is happening to him in his own world that I can just be focusing on that and what he's thinking and how all these very visceral things, which in my opinion are a lot easier to act than finding all these social subtleties. Most of the time, I was just playing straight Maddie Clemens because it is really, really good at its job. There's just these little bits that get more so as it goes on, where I actually get to play the Pennywise part of the role, like the tiny little bit of you can see it on first watch's admiration to Lily, but is really just I really want to eat this person. And when we get close to the sewers, just easing a little further out of this Maddie and into something a little more neutral. And then when we're there and we're spinning around, and I just get to pretend to be entirely a clown, and I don't have to bother with the whole Maddie part first. That was something I talked with Bill beforehand as we were figuring out the dynamics of that transition. And he is a very good actor. I was basically just spinning around a pole on progressively higher and higher boxes so I can match his height. Slowly going from this timid little guy to my best impression of what Bill Skarsgård would sound like. And he there's just so much energy everywhere in what he's doing. There's so much of this slightly twisted clown whimsy. And I did watch some of his performance before some of the takes I was doing up there. So I had some general impression of what he was doing, but a lot of that was just my guesswork of what clowning is like based on the first 3 movies.
We decided to delay the introduction of Pennywise as we know it, and of course, like it is introduced in a wide spectrum of different incarnations. So we hint him many times. But we did. There was an intention to delay, to create an anticipation and a build up across the episodes, and episode 5 is the one where we finally does his spectacular entrance.
He's Pennywise is, I've said this before, but he's our shark, and you don't want to allow the audience to, become familiar with him. It loses its power, we believe. So it's very important to be strategic about his appearance, and we have the great tool that he's a shapeshifter. So, for the first episodes, it is introduced in other shapes.
So I was trying to figure out how that happens, and the Maddie plot, going back to leading the kids back to the sewer, and we knew that he was going to appear there, but the whole gag of the revolving, pole, I came up with that. I don't know. I can't. It was a while ago, but I thought it had to be in itself like a little bit of a build-up, which is not just a surprise. It is a dreadful transformation that you don't expect to happen. But when it happens, it's just a dreadful drag. It drags the audience into the inevitable, and I think I'm very happy with the way it turned out.
When we saw him, it was definitely really scary. We were all kind of just in awe and shocked, and they kind of kept him separate from us on set so that our reaction could be raw and genuine. So in the series, that first reaction is true and it's real, and that's how we reacted when we saw him. But yeah, Bill does such an incredible job of endowing Pennywise and making him come to life. So seeing him in full costume and makeup and with his acting and everything, it was really trippy. It was really cool.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing like seeing him in person. Like, there's genuinely nothing scarier. Just like the energy he brings. I'm just such a fan of his as a performer, and as a person, he's a really nice guy, which is very strange, compounded by the character he plays. It doesn't make sense, but he is truly a gift to work with and behold, and there's no acting that you need to do with him because he just creates that fear by being there.
He definitely creates that environment for you as an actor. Like, he just connects to Pennywise so well, and especially like with the books and the movies and everything that came before him, creating the Pennywise that he became, like, it's so amazing how he connects to that and takes that in. And he's such a nice guy, but also really scary when he's in character in that costume. It's like he's in Pennywise mode, like his whole demeanor is there. And like Clara was saying, like, he was kept very top secret from us. So when that scene in that sewer, that's our real raw reaction. That was our first time ever seeing him, and it was scary. It was scary. So just know that Pennywise and Bill Skarsgård go together. That's one thing I can say.
In the sewer scene, it was definitely like scary, but it was only scary when Pennywise was there. Like, before that, we were just like chilling, goofing around, and then Pennywise came into play, and it was just horrifying.
Yeah, I really applaud the set decorators, to be honest, because
Yeah.
even when we had to lock in and focus because we were about to shoot, it wasn't hard to immerse ourselves in the role and in the moment because you look around and it's like a dirty sewer. It looks like a dirty sewer. So you just kind of get into the mindset of it, and it's
Yeah.
easy from there. You know, not easy, but it's easier from there.
That scene where he lunged towards us, that was just, I mean, big props to him. You know, he's doing his job. He's doing his job well done, but it's too scary.
Pennywise has always been my biggest fear. Like in real life, like Blake Cameron James. Like I never watched the It movies before this because I was just terrified of it. Like deathly afraid, like genuinely afraid. Like my brother would show me a video or something like that when I was younger, and I remember I started crying, and then I went to my parents and told them, like I was genuinely like afraid. So seeing him IRL was just like it was kind of surreal, but it was so scary. And also he like jumped at me when we first met, like trying to scare me, like I don't.
He's just he's a very normal person in real life. He's very committed to being an actor. And while we were discussing, I could definitely tell that whole time he's very deep into what this character is, how this will work. There was a little bit of that surrealness to be talking to actually Pennywise right there. But I think it was grounded in how much that was just based in regular old acting, which I had been doing for this whole time. So it didn't feel all too crazy in the moment.
Because so much of it is practical, we're really living it, we're really experiencing it. It really is me and Javon, who plays Leroy, in this massive practical tunnel, which is really detailed and has real water, and no one's around. The entire crew are outside of the tunnels. So yes, we're on a stage, but boy, does it not feel like it. So a lot of what you see is real emotion. We feel very alone, we feel very scared, and also it's highly uncomfortable by design. So all those ingredients result in a product like what you saw, which is, you know, these two guys out of their depths trying to figure something out that is unfigure-outable. Well, he's struggling because he's not seeing it himself, and although he knows there's a very strange thing happening that is not only mysterious and unpredictable, but surreal. It goes beyond real life. So it's just if he's to trust anybody's perspective, it's Leroy's. So now you have the only person in the world you trust telling you that he's seeing things that aren't there. It's confusing, it's tense, it's stressful, it's frightening. But then, in a moment of instinct, Paulie realizes, wait a minute, if my partner is seeing things that I can't, and I am seeing this thing, it must be real. And it's almost like he taps into the analytical side that Leroy has sort of inspired him to have. And he's solving a problem quicker than he realizes. And yes, it results in tragedy, but it's necessary.
That could possibly be the turn of events for Leroy to have to change tactics. I think he's gone for those first 5 episodes. He's been moving at the freedom of whatever his boss is willing to tell him. And I think at this point, him not getting enough answers about what exactly they're looking for, I think it's just a time for him to transition and look inward and look towards his loved ones for the answers that he's desperate for.